To be alone is delightful, a bliss, but you have to make your own coffee and tea. I can't remember what I'm supposed to miss, and yet there is something empty. An alarm wakes me now. A joyful melody indeed. But I still miss the call of someone saying, I need.
And I no longer live on the edge of the bed. And I no longer cloth clothes for somebody else. Yet, I'd share it again without feeling of dread, for a new shampoo smell, for a nudge without reason, for a diabolic smile, for a warm winter season. Yes, I'd give it all without away, thinking for a moment to have somebody laughed out on my terrible comments.
Window with iron bars, desire to go out. Bed full of food, but not eating.
Locked room!
Connection with nature.
Learning how to be happy alone.
Learning the difference between being lonely and being alone.
Keeping track of the situation, diary.
Everybody shut up! First of all, what is loneliness for me? Is it a social problem or an emotional state of a person that is related to something? Most often, the concept of loneliness has a negative meaning, but the phenomenon of positive loneliness exists and is popular in the practice of voluntary seclusion. I don't want to delve into my imagination and look for warm moments when I was lonely. I would like to talk about the positive loneliness I've been experiencing. Positive solitude has a regulatory function in my life. It helps to solve problems and issues that could worry me. Voluntary seclusion helps to sort oneself in one existential search to establish contact with the spiritual alive.
Last year, I was studying hundreds of kilometers away from home, and because of COVID, I was forced to move away from my roommate. I lived in a small room with only one window, and it had bars that were separated the inside from the outside. Meanwhile, I was questioning my friendships and I was crumbling under pressure. I spent a lot of time alone in my room.
COVID literally destroyed my life. I was locked with my mother that didn't understand my feelings, and she was violent with me. My father didn't defend me, even though I asked for help. The pandemic took away everything I ever loved, and my identity disappeared. It broke like a mirror in a million of pieces, and I lost myself. I started having panic attacks. My existence lost its sense. I didn't want to wake up anymore. Although I was perfectly aware of my situation, my parents started thinking I got crazy. I wasn't. I was just giving up on life, but consciously. The people around me started treating me like I was mentally insane. But I was simply feeling too much pain. That was the moment when I felt real loneliness. Nobody trusted, believed, or understood me. They treated me like someone who lost his mind. It wasn't true, but there was no way to convince them. My only hope was to look at the window and think that at least I could jump and stop the pain. I had to move to another city and start alone. Again!
The person I was doesn't exist anymore. 1 year ago, I was born again.
Now, wait a second. What is this here? What is this? I'm gonna show you how to act. I have a story for you. Yeah, that's right, yeah. You're just gonna watch. The time I felt most alone was when I moved away with my family from my small hometown in the south to a big city in the north. What looked like a beautiful experience turned out to be my worst nightmare. I found myself in a harsh new environment and into a horrible new school where teachers were racist towards my origins. We also started to have troubles at home, and the new city was so big and impersonal that I just couldn't find myself anymore. I stopped talking to anybody and just closed into myself. I didn't have any related topics to speak about. I just listened. I was into my mind. I began to ask myself why I don't have more friends, and I felt completely lonely. I felt that I don't include myself into the groups and promised myself to do more effort to communicate with the others. I felt completely lonely, but now I understand it was more about being different. After that, I started to open up more and not hide my weird side, but use it as my strength. I miss my parents. I miss my home. I remember there was a time when I found hope and positive towards the future of the planet. I miss that time. I miss the gone ones. I miss my home. I don't miss her voice because it was dry from the cigarettes and from the alcohol. Neither her eyes filled with pain and sorrow of the world. I miss what we created just by standing at each other.
That's okay. When she left, she did not. Because she's still living right next door. Our walls touch, just like our feet did once. I'm not lonely, I know that. Because I was still hearing her steps, and her voice, and her stupid laugh. Gosh, her stupid voice is keeping on haunting me, so I'm never alone. This is echo that is always with me on those lone walks. Sometimes there is a pure silence, but I just keep invoke to her spirit, because I know She's lonely when I'm not listening to her.
At one point in my life, I decided that maybe just I'm not a normal human being, and that maybe I can't be a proper woman. They have always told me that I'm too emotional, too vulnerable, just too much for everybody. And that's why I decided not to be emotional anymore. I'm 25. I love my man, but sometimes with him I feel like he doesn't even know me a bit, and I feel so bad with him, but still I know that I will never leave him. I'm 15. I love my parents, but all that I can remember is them yelling at me all the time.
Tutto ciò non ha senso.
Ar tu gali, blet, patylėk bent kartą?
Sei troppo emotiva.
Visi normalūs, o kas tau, blet? Nu, tamsi...
Come fai a essere così? Falla finita. Non ci fai più nulla qua. Non ci fai più.
It's happening again. I lock myself in the bathroom, I look at the razor blade, and it's the next day again. I'm still alive, I'm lying on the bed in tears. I hear my father, he's taking away the bathroom key, and there is that big hole in the door that reminds me of my weakness. My body is weak. It can't handle the stress, I guess. Every now and then new infection appears, and all the time I'm full of pain and shame, and I don't want to tell anybody about it. I'm losing it. I'm losing myself. I'm losing my body, my mind, my heart, my child. I'm 27. I'm pregnant with twins. I have peritonitis. It forces me to give birth 3 months earlier. One of my babies dies at the age of 1 month.
Jasmine was a girl with a dream. She wanted to be an artist and she was giving her life to it. Her parents weren't supportive. They always told her that she wasn't good at it and she was never going to make it. By the surface, she seemed a strong girl who didn't care about the way her parents weren't letting her chase her dream. But inside, she was literally dying. All these years feeling unsupported made her feel out of place at home, and sometimes even in the entire world. So out of place that in her mind, she planned to tell everybody that she wanted to disappear, to be a hermit, in order to make everybody think that she was cutting link with all people, so she could have committed suicide without hurting her friends and family. Soon after, her father was ill and had a heart surgery. Jasmine was taking care of her father at home, going to university, taking care of her siblings, and trying to pursue her dream. Her mom got diagnosed with heavy depression, which got worse with time, and Jasmine received more and more abuse from her mom, which made her feel During the Easter break, she was invited to a party. Everyone was in a good mood. It was the typical sunny day during the spring break. Jasmine was a beautiful girl, so lots of people wanted to get to know her. They started partying. Everything was cool, with music, drinks, and all the friends' good vibes. During that day, Jasmine really felt a glimpse of happiness, feeling included, and that allowed her to temporarily forget all of her problems. In the middle of the party, David, who was a close friend of Jasmine, decided to go for a car ride with her and some other friends. They wanted to visit a pretty place on the hill with a good view and just chill out. David was the brave, fast drive kind. He tightened up too much a turn while another vehicle was coming on the other side. It happened so fast that the two cars were destroyed. The vehicle was coming. The first person to come out of the car was David, then the others. Jasmine was the only one who didn't come out of the car. While driving, she was sitting at the back seat in the middle. She didn't have the belt on. During the accident, she flew through the car and came out through the front window. Her body was lying down together with the bloody glasses and other bits and pieces of the car. She didn't have the shoes on her bloody feet anymore. The long brown hair was covering her damaged and bruised face. It was a matter of seconds to realize that there was no coming back. That was the moment when the lonely girl who went through lots of suffering in her life left the planet, and her last dream of not hurting others by her death did not come true. Everybody cried that day. David felt very guilty and got traumatized for life as he thought that he killed his friend, and he is still carrying that burden with him every day.